Last week, I didn't post a video. We had a lot of crazy stuff going on, plus the weather. It made it really difficult to do any of that stuff, but you know, stuff going on in the family made it really difficult to post any videos. We were on standby a lot. So, yeah. In other news, since winter is kind of just around the corner, I decided that this winter I would like to flip bikes. You know, pick up some cheap bikes that have small issues and change them up. Honestly, you know, I've got two builds in mind too that I want to make happen. The first build is a kind of a cafe racer adventure build, because I mean that would be so dope, just be able to have a cafe racer that you could take anywhere. The other one is, I mean, of course, a bobber. Everybody wants a bobber. Me though, I can't really justify sacrificing comfort over cool right now. But, you know, like I said, we're gonna flip these bikes, you know, buy a bike that is in really rough shape, fix it up for minimal dollars, and make it cool for somebody else that wants it. Because, I mean, why not? You know, I've got an extra garage. I have two garages at home. Not a single garage with two bays, but a whole another garage attached to the house. So we could dedicate that other garage specifically to bike builds, which would be so cool. But yeah, let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in seeing. If you are, you know, not to mention that could really help, you know, boost a sale or two. You know, when we're done, you know, we're not gonna put it up for sale unless it's like ready to go. And who knows, maybe we'll put it on consignment somewhere here locally. Obviously, bikes aren't going to be Harleys because I'm not paying $13,000 for a roller. But we also know that if I wanted tires anywhere, you know, because I'm not going to mount and balance my own tires. Mounting them's not hard, balancing them is kind of ridiculous, you know, if you don't have a machine. But I know a place over here that does have a machine that will do tires, and all I'd have to do is drop it off, or drop the wheels off, and have them mount and balance it with the tire that I want, and then we'll be good to go. Or I'll just buy a whole new wheel. That'd be cool. Something that a lot of people tend to forget whenever they're doing their own builds is that rear wheel. You know, they buy the front wheel and leave the stock one in the back, and somebody that pays close attention to detail is gonna pick that up and, you know, notice that it just looks kind of off. And I don't want that. I want it to be a uniform build. So if I got spoked wheels in the front, I'm having spoked wheels in the back, obviously. And there's only been a few bikes that I've seen that have been built custom where somebody actually pays that much attention to the detail. Man, it's kind of cold this morning. So I've also been doing other things on the bike lately, like trying to get better at having a passenger. My daughter, she's getting ready to turn 17 next year, or I'm sorry, 18 next year. She's 17 right now. And she just bought herself a helmet. Really wants to get into riding, and I feel like her being a passenger is going to give her the feel initially of what to do when she is riding. You know, with the leaning and whatnot, and knowing when to and when not to adjust. Like, that was crazy. Yesterday I took her on this road here, and we got to a spot where we could do 60. and she started trying to adjust herself in the seat and kind of started putting me off balance. I had to check to make sure she was still on the back of the bike when that happened. Oh, and in other news, whenever I'm playing my music, most of the time, you can't hear it on camera, and that's good. For monetization reasons on the YouTubes. I think we had gone out to Topeka to go to that dealership, and right when we pulled up to the dealership, you kind of hear it. You can't really make it out what I was listening to, which is good, but that's something that you really got to watch out for when you're making the videos. You ever feel like people are just trying to race you? Kind of like if you own a Corvette or something, people are always going to try to like get up on you. Yeah, in other news, somebody reached out and interviewed me. I guess they're doing something for a college paper, and they just wanted to get to know me. They found me on YouTube, and I'm glad that my videos are reaching that many people and are interesting enough for other people to want to write about. So, yeah, I'd love to keep that going. That'd be something really cool. But yeah, ultimately just being able to make a difference. I think the biggest message that I tried to send through in that interview was always practice kindness. Spread joy where you can. If you can make people happy, if all it takes is a smile. That's literally it. That's all it takes. Smiles are contagious. So, you see me like, all honk and wave at random people. My daughter does it too. She was waving at everyone yesterday when she was on the back of the bike. Didn't matter if they were a pedestrian, a biker. I think she was afraid to wave at the bikes because she just wouldn't do it. But yeah, no, it was it's a great message to try to send through to people. Sometimes that's what our world really needs right now. There's a lot of people out here who are we all have the capacity for compassion. You see somebody broke down on the side of the road, it's way easier to ignore it and not help than it is to stop and offer the help that you can provide. People are going through a hard time. and you might have the ability to help them in some kind of capacity. And we need to really kind of spread that around. If you have the ability, if you have the capacity to do it, I feel like you should. It's a difficult thing. Sometimes I think, to pay attention to those needs, and it's super easy just to ignore it. Not my problem, not going to deal with it. Or you got your own problems, but this is where I'm saying, if you have the ability or the capacity, stop and help. And everybody has the capacity to spread joy. If you're having a bad day, and this is something that I picked up when I used to work with kids a lot. There were days where I was like, I'm having a hard time, or I was really depressed. And working with those children, being able to see them in the morning, like that was my favorite thing to do, was see them in the morning and give them that spark of joy in the morning, whether I was ready for it or not, because it makes a difference. It really does. It makes a difference in yourself, and it makes a difference to them. They might be having a bad day, and you might just, a bad morning even, and you just being kind to them is going to make a huge difference in how they take up the rest of the day. And that's something that I personally really loved about being able to work with kids, was being able to make a difference with just the smallest thing. Again, all it takes is just being kind to somebody, and it doesn't take any effort to be nice. It also doesn't take any effort to be mean, but what do you gain from that? What reward do you actually get from being mean? Is it self-satisfaction, or is it just that somebody else has a worse day? Even if you don't like them, it's not worth it. You just perpetuate that cycle.
What up, B's and G's? Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about today's sponsor is Debbie. Debbie makes energy drinks, and they're really good. This is s'mores. It's my favorite one. You mix it with some milk, and it tastes like chocolate milk. You get the tumblers from them as well. Whole thing all together, it really doesn't cost a whole lot of money. Up front, this is $40. I think this was like $15. Gonna reuse this 100 times. This will last you 30 days. So if cost is a problem for you, it's not a big deal. But there is a promo code that you can use. If you buy it today, you go on to Debbie's website. I'll put a link in the description. If you at checkout use the promo code Sadow Ryder, I'll put the promo code down here too. You use promo code Sadow Ryder, that'll get you 10% off your entire purchase. I really hope you guys do try it. It's a great product. And let's get back to the video.
My turn signal's, yeah, it's still there. Yes. I've been nervous about that ever since it fell off the first time. By the way, if you didn't catch it in the description, my kid found that. My whole turn signal license plate bracket. She was on her way home from school for lunch one day, and she found it. I rode it was 2 blocks away from the house. I could have driven another 51 miles trying to find it. But what good would that do? I didn't see it, but she did. She paid attention to that detail, and I was super grateful for that. Yeah, lots of luck that weekend. A sale? I don't believe it. Oh, so I was checking out this throttle lock. Something that seems pretty simple to operate, pretty reliable in how it works. It's called Atlas, and I think it's completely worth it if your vehicle, or if your bike rather, didn't ever really have a cruise control option. It's also a fairly cheap option versus, trying to upgrade your whole system to adapt cruise control. Super easy. You just put it right here, right there, and lock it and unlock it. And when when it's locked, you can still adjust it. But yeah, it's Atlas. It's like $150. It's not terrible. I'll put a link in the description for anybody who wants to check it out. It goes on in a couple of minutes. So you don't have to be super mechanically inclined to make it work. Alright everybody, well, I think that's gonna be it for this video. I really do enjoy you guys watching, and I'm enjoying seeing the viewership going up. Tells me I'm doing something right. And I love you, and peace out.